They did it last night. They went ahead. They approved it. 7:05 on a Tuesday. It's great to have you here on KCMO. Bill O'Reilly is 1 hour away from joining us on 95.7 FM. Make sure you are here for Bill O'Reilly in 1 hour. In the meantime, Overland Park approved its 2026 city budget last night. The budget comes in at a whopping $498.6 million. This is good for a 6% increase over 2025. And to give you a little perspective, Overland Park back in 2018 had a budget of about $292 million. Overland Park's budget is up 67% over less than a decade. Now, yes, inflation is part of that. We all understand life is, sadly, thanks to in part the government, more expensive than it was just a few short years ago. But many at the local level, many at the county level, have decided we're going to make this thing even worse. We're going to make sure that we are taking more of your money as our budget continues to balloon. And that's what they've done in Overland Park. Now, they put out a press release on this last night because they had to figure out a way to lessen the blow. And they write here in their second sentence of their press release that they approved their 2026 budget, they write here, the city's property tax rate is not increasing. It will remain flat at 14.538 mils.
Nobody cares.
Nobody thinks about their taxes. Nobody thinks about their money from the standpoint of how many mils it costs, the mill levy rate. It's meaningless. People think about it in real dollars. That's how they think about it. That's the only way to think about it. You don't budget based on, well, my mills for my property taxes this month are 14.538. That's not how it works. They didn't go revenue neutral on your property taxes. They're getting more money, and they admit this here. The city is capturing additional revenues from sales taxes, increasing property valuations, and other revenue sources to provide services to our growing community. They admit that property valuations are increasing your property taxes. And instead of going revenue neutral on your property taxes, they're just not making it any worse. They're just not increasing the rate, the mill rate that they tax your property at. That's all they're doing here. Let's be very clear. But they're trying to sugarcoat this thing. And I haven't seen anybody else in TV media. Certainly the Kansas City Star is not going to touch this. I don't know why. But this is a huge story. Like outside of Kansas City, it is based on population, our largest community, and they continue to fleece their taxpayers in large part. And they say, oh, well, we've gotten an increase in sales taxes. That is true because with inflation, see, the dirty little secret is inflation leads to more money for the government in sales tax revenues. Think about it. If your goods and services that you buy are up 20% the last few years, the sales tax rate doesn't have to change for their revenues to also go up 20%. Because whatever their sales tax rate, if the cost of the good is 20% more, then they're getting a 20% boost in their revenues. That's the other part where the government causes inflation and then actually benefits from it too. And they get to grow government coming out of it. And now in a world where people have been so squeezed the last few years, in a world where the inflation rate is about 3%, Overland Park says, hold my beer, we're doubling that on our budget increases year over year. Must be nice. If you are a resident right now, 913-408-7957 is how you join us. And this is not unique to Overland Park. We've seen these issues in Lenexa, to a lesser extent in Olathe. We've seen them obviously in Kansas City. We've had issues in Lee's Summit. We've talked about this stuff up north. It's all over the Kansas City metro. And they go on the note here, Overland Park has grown by nearly 10,000 people in the last 5 years. Is that a lot? I mean, Overland Park's about 200,000 people. 10,000 people in the last 5 years? It's not exactly booming. So you've grown the population by give or take 5% in half a decade, yet the cost of doing business continues to skyrocket. It's up 6% year over year. Your population's up 5% in 5 years, but the budget's up 6% in 1 year, double the rate of inflation. That's not really making the case that you're trying to make there. That's like not impressive when you actually think about it. And once you crunch the numbers, you realize that that's not all that impressive at all. The city manager says planning for a growing community like this requires careful financial management. And I'm proud of our team's stewardship of tax dollars. Oh, my goodness. Good thing I didn't have any coffee in my mouth when I read that line. And if you did, if you're sitting at home right now listening on your Alexa or Google, or you're in the car, I should have warned you on that one because you probably have coffee all over the steering wheel at this point. When you hear a line like that from the Overland Park city manager, Lori Curtis Luther, never trust people that use three names. Never do it. Lori adds here, this includes long-term programming to ensure we are flexible and can continue to deliver services in weaker economies. So you're, what? Oh, my gosh. This is the worst statement of all time. Are you admitting that the economy is softening and that's why you have to take more taxpayer money from the people, from the folks? Is that what you're going for here? Oh, my gosh. We've got to take more of your money because we sense there's a potential economic downturn coming and we have to be prepared for it. How about the people being prepared for their own economic downturn? You ever think about that? Has that ever crossed your mind, Overland Park, or no? Is that not what you care about? The statement adds here, city leaders plan year-round to ensure the organization has the resources it needs to meet the high level of service Overland Park residents expect. Now it's your fault. You see? It's your fault. Don't you get it? If you didn't demand such high-quality services as an Overland Park resident, they wouldn't be doing this to you. This is your fault. This is the biggest, most insulting slap-in-the-face statement I have ever seen from a city manager on how they just and why they just went ahead and raised your taxes by double the inflation rate or took the budget and doubled the inflation rate on their own expenses. That's the better way to put it, in fairness. What an insulting statement this is to anybody with an ounce of common sense. And is anybody else going to bring this up? Something tells me no.